Okay, now we're going to take a look at a very simple play check, and this is something that that is the number one play check that I use. Most of our plays have something built into it, just as you saw in the session that I talked about maintaining the point of attack, how 23 lion becomes 23 panther, lead to power and so on. This is a situation where we need to get out of that play because there's some personnel that we don't like. There's a reason we don't want to go there. So we need to get out of it. So we're going to use the word Omaha at the line of scrimmage, and Omaha just means opposite. Now, of course, defensively, you don't know what that means. You don't know what we called in the huddle, so you don't know what Omaha is. It doesn't matter that we call it over and over again. Because it depends on the play we called in the huddle what Omaha means. Okay, so let's just take a look and see what it is that would cause us to do this and why we might do this. We've been using this, what for us is a rip far. We've been using that kind of the model for our offense as we go through things. But let's now look at defensively. Some people call this an over. For us, it would be a Lou 21. Lou identifying where the anchor is. 21 meaning there are 2 down linemen and 1 linebacker from B gap to B gap, and that's what's important to us. So anyway, we've got a Lou 21 here, and we want to run 23 lead, but maybe this defensive end is a stud, and we just want to stay away from him. We don't have anybody that can handle this guy. And we actually thought he was going to be over here. All right, we thought he was going to be over here on the strong side, but when we come out, we've got 23 lead call, and he's over here, and we just know that this guy can't handle him. We've got a problem. Okay? So we're just going to come up to the line of scrimmage, and we're going to make an Omaha call. And Omaha tells us that instead of running 23 lead over here, we're changing the play, and we're coming over here to 24. All right? Now, how do we know whether to run lead or power? Well, it goes back to that thing we talked about in the other session. Is there anybody in the B gap? No. So we're in good shape here. We're just going to run, we're going to run our lead play, but it doesn't matter. We would have game planned what we want to run here, okay? And we probably would, just come back in here and run our lead, all right? We'd go here to here, come back in here, here to there, hang on to this guy as best we can. We'll come down here and we'll run our power play that way. Okay? So, and it's not how we run it. I don't care how you run it. What's important is, can you do this? Can you get out of what's potentially a bad situation? Okay? Again, here you are. You were going to run, and let's do it the other way. All right, in the huddle, the play you called was 24 lead. Okay, you want to run over here. Okay, maybe you're going to run some motion, F near, 24 lead. So he's going to come in motion here. All right, and we're going to be, we wanted to run the play right in here. But again, this guy shows up, and we don't have anybody that can handle him. We got to run away from him. Okay? We got to run away from him. So now we're going to make an Omaha call. And making the Omaha call, we probably wouldn't motion this guy, although we could. We could still run him over here and bring him back. All right? But instead of running 24 lead, we're going to run 23 lead. All right? We're going to go here. We'll go here and here. We'll go here and here, comboing. We'll get on him as best we can. We'll get on that, and we'll come down in here. And depending on what this guy does, we'll either drive it up or we'll put a hump in it. Okay? So 23, 24, an Omaha call opposite takes us to 23. Now, as we did before, let's just take a look at what happens over here. Remember in that other session we talked about what happens if somebody walks up. How do we handle it when we've got 23 lead called and that guy's up in here? Well, remember now that goes from being lead to power. The only two guys that change, I haven't changed anything. The only two guys that change, these guys change assignment. He comes down onto the B gap, he's on the end, and our tailback now reads that defensive end. If he's a guy who's an up the field guy, we're going to hit up in here. If he's a guy who's going to come down and squeeze, then we'll wind up putting a hump around it. All right? So that's just using Omaha to mean opposite. Doesn't matter what your word is, what your signal is, but the fact is, just like previously we talked about maintaining the point of attack, now we want to make sure that we can get away from somebody. If somebody appears that we don't want to play against, that we can get away from them. All right? So that's using just a very simple play check. For us, it's Omaha, starting with an O, meaning opposite.